Elon Musk just dropped a massive bombshell, and this one might be the biggest one of the last 12 months for us Tesla stock investors. Elon replied to this post, and it's all about his compensation. Elon owns 411 million shares of Tesla. Is that not incentive enough for Tesla, the company, to do well for years to come? His 100 billion today turns into 1 trillion if Tesla surpasses Saudi Aramco and Apple. Why the need for another comp plan? Elon explains, I am uncomfortable growing Tesla to be a leader in AI and robotics without having 25% voting control, enough to be influential, but not so much that I cannot be overturned. Unless that is the case, I would prefer to build products outside of Tesla. You don't seem to understand that Tesla is not one startup, but a dozen. Simply look at the delta between what Tesla does and GM. And he follows up that with another bombshell. As for stock ownership itself being enough motivation, Fidelity and other own similar stakes to me, why do not they show up for work? Clearly, Elon wants more control, and perhaps he does want some extra compensation, but that's not the main point. He does not want to have another OpenAI situation where OpenAI turns into closed for-profit AI from a non-profit organization. The reason this is such a massive bombshell is because this potentially very strongly implies that Elon is not going to really focus on new products that will come out from Tesla, which would really limit Tesla's future potential in the very long term. Short to medium term, I don't think all that much would change, but in the long term, this is a big deal. Elon says, I would like to have a strong influence on AI, robotics, not control it. I don't think any one person should control it. Sawyer thinks that Elon Musk is making it pretty clear he wants a new incentives package from Tesla. And James just asked a really controversial question. I think, though, it is a valid question to ask. Now, the answer to that question, I'm not sure if he's on the right track here, but he says, has this whole Twitter thing and related drama all been a massive hissy fit because Elon was pissed off he didn't get a new compensation plan? Elon acquired Twitter pretty much at the time when his previous compensation has fully vested, and basically it was clear, okay, yeah, Elon, you're not getting anything new. While it is a valid question to ask, I don't think that's really the case. For the past year, many Tesla shareholders and customers have been bashing Elon, saying he's harming Tesla, he's not doing his job, and making major strategic blunders. Now it's time for them to decide whether they want to keep him or lose him. He has been working for free and taken for granted. Now I see a lot of people saying that, why would Elon need a new compensation plan if he just 10x the company valuation? He would make more than $1 trillion. But here's another way to think about it. If Elon sold all of that stock and he invested into something that he owns pretty much 100% and he 10x's that, then he would make 10 trillion. Now I placed in the top 20 when I went to Math Olympics, so I am qualified to tell you that 10 trillion is indeed more than 1 trillion. But there are a lot of important details that were further discussed on X, and Elon participated in the discussion. Here's what we learned so far, and there's so much more to this. The board of directors may be deserving of more criticism than some have thought. They have been criticized for being too subservient to Elon, but their lack of foresight and action on a new compensation package for Elon may actually be causing him to slowly drift from Tesla. Here's an important detail. There might be some dissonance as the board has been through quite some lawsuits on the 2018 compensation package. I am all in favor of Elon reaching after all milestones 25% again, me too. Now the devil is in the detail as always. And James doesn't say this often, but he thinks this whole situation is very disturbing. And here's perhaps the most important post from Elon. I should know that the Tesla board is great. The reason for no new compensation plan is that we are still waiting for a decision in my Delaware compensation case. The trial for that was held in 2022, but a verdict has yet to be made. I put compensation plan in quotes because from my standpoint, this is primarily about ensuring the right amount of voting influence at Tesla. If I have 25%, it means I am influential but can be overridden if twice as many shareholders vote against me versus for me. At 15% or lower, the for and against ratio to override me makes a takeover by dubious interests too easy. I would be fine with a dual-class voting structure to achieve this, but I am told it is impossible to achieve post-IPO in Delaware. And has Elon had any conversations with the Tesla board about a new compensation plan, or is it on hold until the case is solved? Well, Elon says he's waiting for the case to be decided first. Gary Black agrees 100% with Jason. I support another huge compensation package for Elon. Elon has earned all of his existing shares. Let's give him a path to earn more, 25% voting control, and take Tesla to the next level. He's working harder than any of us retail investors and institutional investors sitting on our butts, waiting for stuff to just magically happen. The world's best capital allocator would be more effectively incentivized with a new incentive package commensurate with Tesla's world-transforming mission and multi-trillion-dollar ambitions. I'm not really seeing any big Tesla bulls who are heavily involved in the Tesla stock community who are against giving Elon more compensation. Now, Christian said a public battle between Elon and the board is not a good look. Seems like Elon will not be doing much until he gets his new compensation. It's not ideal for Tesla stock, probably heading lower. However, the stock is not down as I'm recording. But Elon replied to this post from Omar. There's no feud between Elon and the board. He is as focused on Tesla as ever and has been running multiple companies since he became CEO. This will be resolved calmly and is immaterial. Elon explains and assures all of us that there's no feud or battle at all. The Tesla board is excellent. And that personally makes me feel really happy as a Tesla stock investor, knowing that everything is good. Tensions between the board and the CEO, are not exactly great. But make no mistake, I think this is the best translation of the situation. Elon wants to control 25% of Tesla, and number two, if he cannot, he prefers to build products outside of Tesla, which means that he's likely to leave to some degree. This is a very thinly veiled threat of leaving if this demand is not met, in my opinion, says AJ, so it's now up to the board to decide, and it seems to me that the board has already decided to give Elon a new compensation package because Elon said that the relations are great, there's no battle, there's no feud. So I think that's why. It's not under the power of the board to give Elon a new compensation right now before that case in Delaware is fully finished. Gary proposed a solution to all of this. Still plenty of time for the Tesla board and Elon to come up with a new compensation plan that properly aligns incentives. Tesla bears are making more of this than warranted. And yes, Tesla buying back shares would get Elon closer to 25%. So that could be a part of the solution. And Dan Ives joined the conversation. Per Musk comments, the AI story at Tesla is still very much underappreciated by the street in our review. The point Musk is making with his 25% ownership comments is around future AI projects at Tesla or outside Tesla. We believe the board and Musk will ultimately resolve this issue. There was so much drama on X before Elon clarified that everything is fine with the board and that he's just waiting for the case to be resolved in Delaware, which goes to show you that if you see someone who you know pretty well acting weird, there's usually a very good reason for it, and you probably just don't know everything. So don't judge, try to find out more, and then after you have observed everything and collected all of the possible information, and you finally received an explanation that actually makes sense, only then make your conclusions. Until then, you want to be on edge, questioning everything without any firm conclusions. Elon responded to this post from Sawyer. Elon makes it very clear that this isn't about him wanting more money. The bottom line is Tesla is better off if Elon is in charge, drama and all. Elon is basically working for free right now. This doesn't make sense even for someone as wealthy as him. Elon responds with, if dual class can be done, I'm all for it. It's weird that a crazy multi-class share structure like Meta, Facebook, which gives the next 20 plus generations of Zuckerberg's control, is fine pre-IPO. But even a reasonable dual class is not allowed post-IPO. What Elon is basically asking here is for more control without necessarily being paid more. He wants to own more shares, but he doesn't need to own the shares that actually give him more money. He has more control, more power over Tesla, and we shareholders still keep all of our shares without any dilution, which would also mean that when Tesla would eventually pay dividends, our dividend would be higher because the dividends are not going, well, at least not as much, is going to Elon, but more is going to us shareholders. But that would come with us also having a little bit less say, for example, when matters are presented for shareholders to vote. We would have less power making these decisions. We would still have power, but not as much. And in this case, I am all for this dual class proposal. So how much Tesla stock does Elon own? According to Grok, Elon currently owns 13.4% of Tesla shares and owns vested options that could allow him to buy another 8.6% of Tesla shares at an average strike price of $6.24 per share. This would bring his Tesla ownership to 22%. But actually, he would have to pay tax on these options, so that would actually only leave him with 18%. Still a large number, but not 25%. Gary proposes a new compensation plan which could provide for another tranche of options, roughly 5% net of taxes, and Tesla could buy its own stock, 8% of its shares over the next 5 years, which would then give Elon 25% of ownership. By the way, for those that say that Gary Black is often negative about Tesla, I didn't see a single post that was negative about what was just happening. Only positives really from Gary, which is also telling me this is exactly how institutions are seeing this whole situation. They're not really thinking much of it. And for those that think that Omar is always only positive about Elon and Tesla, well, read this. Dear Tesla board, I woke up today shocked to see that someone has sold billions of dollars worth of my Tesla shares to buy Twitter. I will need some additional shares to maintain a comfortable 25% voting control position in the company. Please see to this. Chop chop. Love, Elon. It is funny because there's a little bit of truth in it. Alex shared some good thoughts. The public compensation plan discussion was started by Tesla bulls and not by Elon. It's a very important detail, number 8. Because the last compensation plan worked out fine, we should expect to see a new one that will have a similar structure, number 10. Be prepared for a ton of fear, uncertainty, and doubt from mainstream media, analysts, and journalists who create a false narrative to create clicks and drama. And perhaps most importantly, number 11, the fact that Elon wants more influence over critical Tesla AI decisions ASAP is proof that FSD and Optimus are developing very quickly and commercialization is realistically on the horizon. We can argue about the probability of the Tesla bot actually happening in the foreseeable future, but it would be very difficult to make an argument that Elon Musk himself does not believe in that. In the year 2006, you could have made an argument EVs are not the future. Elon, though, would have completely disagreed with you. And he would have been able to show you, look, not only do I say these things, but this is where my money is. In summary, Elon is so back now, but also he didn't leave.